Victor, thanks so much for coming in on the show. Now, critics say that these proposals would completely jeopardize Hong Kong's autonomy. But what do you say to that? What's your response to that?
I don't think it will completely jeopardize Hong Kong's autonomy, because from the preliminary draft that I've seen on the internet, I think the draft that Beijing has come up with specifically targets a few things. It targets terrorism, separatism, as well as political violence and certain anti-Chinese activities in Hong Kong. So if one does not undertake these activities, then it's unlikely to affect that person. So ordinary citizens would still have the right to do, for instance, have the right to assembly. They would have the right to say what they like. But this new law actually forces all the people in Hong Kong to learn how to engage politically within the confines of the law. So in other words, there is no longer this unbridled freedom to do whatever it is that we like, because we are supposed to be free. But really inculcates a sense of freedom with responsibility. What I'm actually trying to say here is that so what we see over the last summer, for instance, that unless the government gives in to us, we will go destroy a metro station, or we will use Molotov cocktails and set fire to people's residential quarters. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. I think this is clearly laid out in the law.
And Victor, I mean, senior politicians from at least 23 countries have warned that this new security law would be a comprehensive assault on the rights and freedoms of Hong Kong, and that this cannot be tolerated. Simply put, well, this law would absolutely change the lives of everyday citizens.
It would definitely change the lives of those, the Hong Kong political opposition. But it would also, I think, bring about an improvement to the lives of the ordinary citizens. First of all, I think it's important to establish that there is a lot of physical violence in Hong Kong that we have never seen before in the previous years. One of the first things that I hope that a new law would take away is the threat of physical violence to individuals. I also hope that it will enhance the protection of property of people. And certainly, I hope that it will bring civility back to the political discourse. The law would root out those who intend to disrupt Hong Kong politically. And certainly, I hope it will force the young people, particularly, who have been behaving relatively irresponsibly under the name of democracy, to rethink their strategy. Personally, I'm a Democrat. I think I'm a Democrat. And I disagree with almost everything that they have done out in the streets. I mean, it's one thing to protest. It's another thing to beat up people who disagree with you. That's not democracy, as far as I'm concerned. So we all have our rights. We all have a right to different views. But I think political violence must be stopped. Right now, this draft will, I think, not affect the freedoms that Beijing have promised under the one country, two systems. It will only target like the things that I've outlined: separatism, political violence, and terrorism.
Right. Victor Teo, we do appreciate your insight. He's an assistant professor at the University of Hong Kong. Thanks so much for that.